Hey, Shopify store owners, especially if you're selling on Etsy too. Here's a quick question. Are people actually finding your products on Google? If SEO feels confusing, overwhelming, or like something you'll get to later, this is for you. I'm hosting a free 7-day Shopify SEO challenge that breaks it down into simple, doable steps. No tech headaches, no fluff. Join us at aiseoschool.com. That's school with a K, aiseoschool.com. 7 days, it's free, better traffic. Let's go. If this traditional funnel is breaking, what replaces it? And I've been creating this for Shopify stores, a repeatable system that smaller business owners can actually follow without feeling overwhelmed, but still feel like they're taking like some actionable steps towards growth and visibility for their stores. Get found, earn trust, be chosen. To you, what does a modern visibility ecosystem look like?
So a modern visibility ecosystem. Again, foundational SEO. That's what I'm calling old school SEO. That's still very important. Right now, that is as fast as this is all changing and as fast as AI coming down the line and agentic, and we're getting all these new connectors every day. Traditional SEO is still where the majority of your traffic and sales are coming in for e-commerce. And I know for local SEO, especially SaaS might be a little bit different, but we're starting to see that sort of shift. So as that shift's going, make sure that your foundational SEO is still solid. Your SEO titles, your meta descriptions, your titles, your descriptions, right, on your products, your product feeds, things like that. Keep all that up and going and make sure that that's all strong and set up and ready to go and monitored, and make sure all the bots can still crawl all your sites. And then, for this modern visibility, it's okay, well, can the AI bots crawl my sites? Is that going to happen? Can the AI bots see my site? They don't see JavaScript yet. So LLMs don't see JavaScript. So how do I audit for that? There's some tools that you can get, plugins. Sorry, I can't remember quite the right word yet for it, that you can get, and you can turn it off. You can turn JavaScript off and then just go through your whole site. So if you're a small business owner, you can do that as well. And then what you can do from there, right, is take a look at the basics of, okay, what's changed with on-page. On-page is your content. Should I change the way I'm writing my informational content? Yes, 100%. Start talking more about your brand, start talking more about you versus your competitors, start putting more numbers in there, start putting prices in there, start putting any of those sort of things that you would think that LLM, that AI bot, what would they want to pull into a conversation that's not already easily accessible on the web? Publish your customer service, publish your sales material, publish all that stuff that we used to not publish because it's not generalized. So no more generalization. Back to who you are, what you do, why they should choose you. So put that everywhere.
Yes. And I have to say, I'm very proud because that's what my semantic analyzer does. Yes. And that was what I was so excited to share because, it was like, okay, once you get the foundation on there, how do you know that you got the right words on the page for a search engine and especially an AI search engine to recommend you? And it comes down to those semantic signals. And the GPT that it's a gem, I guess, but I created, it actually tells you like the semantic requirements of the query, which is so cool because it's like, hey, this is what you should have. And then it gives you a score of what you should have compared to what you actually have.
Yeah.
And then it gives you the suggestion of what you need to add and then rewrites it all for you so that, semantically you're aligned with what an AI search engine needs to understand about your business and your page to be able to feature you as a recommended source. And so I was so excited because it's, yes, the foundations of SEO, check. Okay, we could do that. That's something that we can check off. But then understanding like the elements on a page that makes you recommendable, I feel like that's something that people really need to understand as well. And it's always that tough filter too, because it's a little bit promotional in nature. But at the same time, it's not about the website brand itself. It's about solving the problem of the person who is actually using the website, right?
Yes.
And so it's this bipolar experience, bipolar SEO. That's what I should name my company. Bipolar SEO.
I like it. Yeah.
Okay. So what about some other things? You mentioned, with the Google, the product feeds, that's something that I really need to have an episode on, but making sure those are updated, submitting your information to the product feeds within, say, Perplexity, Gemini, ChatGPT. Are there any other things that smart marketers are experimenting with right now that someone might be able to implement?
Well, This isn't even an experiment. So H tags are back. When I first started having proper semantic HTML, which means you have your title, right? And then you have an H1. Your H1 might be your title. You might have a separate one. That's okay. Then after that, H1, right, is what the whole article's about. And then you have H2s, which are subtopics under that main topic. And then H3s are a subtopic to the H2, right? And so, having those H tags, actually using those for organization for the box to see how you have your content organized and what are the topics and subtopics and how does it all support that H1 is incredibly important again. So when I first started, it was something I called the H tag nesting, right? And making sure that you had that so the bots could understand it. As the years went on, Google got smart enough to where those could go back to be using as decoration. So what I always notice is devs don't, do that. A lot of people, they're like, oh, well, I just want this size here. And so they pick an H2 because that's the size, right? Well, I want that font there. So they pick an H5 because that's where the font is, right? And I want an H, I want everything to be big. So I'm going to make H1s all over because I want them all to be this and this big. And that's no longer a design style choice. Go ahead and go through your whole site and try to reorganize them. If you are like me, where I'm like, well, I still want that font, there are ways to go back and hard code it in the back. You're going to have to ask a dev or Google ChatGPT on how to do that because I don't know how to do it. But I always have my devs go back and change them for the clients that still want that visual, but be able to have that semantic H tag in the back. So that's something really easy that we can go through our sites that we can do. That even me, who's just a WordPress editor, can go back and fix and all of my stuff if I need to.
I've learned a lot through my son about the English language and even about semantic stuff like subject, predicate, object. If I learned that at any point in my life, I completely forgot,
Me too.
But now he's in a computer class, and I feel like there's just such a missed opportunity for people who are teaching in computer and tech education. Back in my day, we learned in Microsoft Word, but they always had the title and the H2s and the H3s, all that stuff. I never knew what that was. I never knew why you would use it, what it was there for. I thought it was, like you said, just a font preference. And I'm like, if anybody could just teach that properly to our young people, that would be so helpful as they're going forward. We could just skip a generation of people jacking up all the heading titles.
I'll get rid of my work. I still need a job, Crystal.
Oh, that's
joking.
true. Okay, so quick question. You are so thoughtful in including, the small Shopify stores and the small business owners. How do we build visibility without massive budgets?
Build visibility without massive budgets. That's where I kind of see it. Nothing's for sure, of course. Nothing's really been tested, all that sort of jazz. But that's where I kind of think like building visibility, of course, the foundational SEO. Go back and turn the JavaScript off. Make sure that you have a semantic HTML, your H1s, H2s, H3s for them so they can understand what your site is and see it, crawl it, and understand it. As far as building the content out, you're right on the mark, I think, Crystal, with figuring out semantic because LLMs organize things semantically. They see things semantically. They break words down into little word chunks with numbers, right? And that's the vector embedding, right? And then they organize in that way. And then it's kind of a token predictor. So they kind of pull them that way as well. So that's a very good way to go back through your content and be like, oh, hey, is this something that the way LLMs organize things are going to be able to understand what I've got here? And then again, like I said, bring up that customer service information, bring up that sales information, bring up that brand information, bring up anything that you have about your product that nobody else has on the web. So where it used to be generalized, 10 reasons for X, Y, and Z. Now it's 10 reasons why I'm the best. It's just 10 reasons why this company is X, Y, and Z. It's very more branded. It's very more personalized. It's very more niche.
That was going to be another question about like brand search. Do you think brand search matters more now with AI search than it did before?
Yes. And this is another thing I'm trying to eat up with my GE. So I do feel right that SEOs, visibility strategists, we're going to have to either learn brand or start working. And it's another huge opportunity for us because I think getting your branding, right? LLMs love grounding queries. So what they do is they take their knowledge that they've been trained on when you ask them a question, they make up an answer, and then they go out to the web, right? And they look all over the web to see if they can find additional information from other websites and across the web that match that as a grounding query to prove that what they think that their answer is true, right? So that's where we get like hallucinations is they go out, they make up an answer because they don't know the answer from the training material. They go out, they don't really find anything. They kind of make stuff up. They come back. But side note, bonus tip, if you have an AI hallucination that's a content opportunity, go write a blog post on it. So what you're going to want to do is make sure that you know exactly what your brand is, what your brand positioning is, who you are, how you want to be represented, the words you want to use, the target markets you want to be in, things like that. You're going to want to know your brand and actually do some brand research. And then go ahead and figure out your semantic triplets. I don't know what they are yet. I've heard echo blocks. I like that as well. Figure out what those are and how to use them, and then incorporate them into your site. And then also update any of your listings. If you can go up and update your NAP listings, your Yelp, your Angie, if you can go make sure your Google Business Profile, any other listings or anywhere else where you can touch the outside world for those grounding queries. Even if it's doing a cheap press release post, not for traffic, not for humans, but just to get some of those grounding queries out of there, go ahead and do that. So
What about the outdated KPIs that are misleading companies? Do you have any that you want to call out?
so many, so many. Like I said, right now, we just don't have the data we used to, right? So sessions, I mean, look at the gauge sessions, but don't have that be our last metric any longer, because we know that that's no longer going to be, we're no longer doing inbound marketing. Traditional SEO is dying. And so we're going to have to, we're going to have to do better, which is more work, which sucks, but okay, we'll do what we got to do, right? And start looking at sort of like visibility. So where we used to do keyword rankings, right? We want to start looking at, hey, do we have grounding queries in Bing AI report? And then our prompt tracking. So I have my own version of prompt tracking that I'm kind of working on, and that's to get a large enough data set. So currently I'm like, if you want to look at prompt tracking, let's do it by topic, or by your brand name. Let's do it by topic, and then also by persona. So you have a persona, and you want, this brand to be known for these sort of topics or these sort of attributes or what they are, and then do a group of them, right? So do a group of prompt tracking that you track every month over and over in the same tool. The number of that and how we go about that, the runs, I got an article on that. I hope other people jump in that are smarter with math than me, and we can keep poking it with a stick as an industry, because it seems like a really fun nut to crack. But go ahead and start doing that, because we're going to need to figure out a really valid way to do that to prove our visibility to leadership clients. So to be able to prove that, hey, we did this and your visibility is higher, right? So your visibility is higher. So what does that visibility now relate to? Is it referral traffic that you can take and make a customer report in Google Analytics, and we can pull that information from? Did we see an overall arc in sales that's about this topic or about that product that we know that we've gotten visibility in? Have our brand searches increased? Brand searches and clicks increased in Google Search Console. And we feel like it's a halo effect, that we know that we did this and now people are Googling our brand, and that direct traffic, because that will go into direct traffic usually, right? That direct traffic of branded searches is actually converting, because usually it doesn't. In the past, it didn't. So it's kind of figuring out where those kind of customer journey is going to go and how that customer journey is going to be for your industry and who you are, trying to see what we can do there. It's going to be tough. Because it used to just be like, oh, look, ratings, sessions, yay, and we had a direct line. We had the last click data attribution.
Lots of opinions on those stats,
Right.
just from a very small business perspective. But real quick, we got to have a rapid fire session. Do you think that there's some marketing skills now that are becoming less valuable? Part two of that, what roles do you think are becoming the most at risk or will be more at risk in the next few years?
Doom and gloomer. I know people ask me about hot takes too, and I'm like, I just don't pay attention. I don't know. Because I'm always like, I'm a happy, shiny. 100%, the things that are going to be most at risk, right, are the people that don't want to acknowledge the change, and that people that aren't going to reprioritize. A lot of the tactics that we're using, a lot of stuff that we're doing, we did in SEO. But people that aren't going to want to reprioritize and repackage what we're doing. The people that are going to be like, well, it's just SEO and it's all the same stuff. That's not what people want to hear. And it's not just SEO. LLMs are not search engines. There are differences. People want to know what those differences are, whether it be our clients or our bosses. They want to know what those differences are, and they want to know that we're addressing them. So, not only reprioritizing and figuring it out, but also repackaging the way we present it, I think is going to be a huge issue. So people that are, willing to go, hey, I'm not selling snake oil. I'm not going to give you all the bright, shiniest things, but here's what we do know that works, and here's what we do know that changes, and here's what we are getting bought, even if they want to go that mellow about it and not change the name of their title or what their program name is changing, I think is going to be what's going to be most valuable. And we're really going to see drop off as people that refuse to change.
And, you spoke about tinfoil hats earlier.
Yes.
I do tend to put those on once in
They're
a
so
while.
fun.
Yeah. And I think about, okay, you've got these emerging LLMs. Are these LLMs telling us anything about how to be visible and show up to their customers?
Not really. So that's another thing when I was saying about like my challenge this week is how to convince people to do some of these strategies and tactics without any proof, right? Without any documentation. So Google just updated their documentation to include AI, and a lot of it is just like, just keep doing what you're doing, right? But that's kind of what they said. Oh, multimodal. They love that word, multimodal. What does that mean? Make sure your alt tags are really good. Make sure that you have transcripts on your stuff. Make a video to go with something. Infographics again, multimodal. That's what that means is, do more images. So that's kind of what we're seeing out of Google so far. Microsoft put out an AEO GEO handbook, and it was kind of e-commerce based. I was so excited, and I kept putting it off because I thought it was going to be a big thing for me to read. And so I kept putting it off because I was busy and I was doing other stuff. And I opened it up this weekend, and either I'm looking at the wrong thing or it was like 3 or 4 pages. It wasn't what I was hoping it would be. Probably have the wrong thing. I don't know. But I was like, this is very underwhelming. But it's great to get actual information. People are starting to give us actual things. When it comes to like them coming out and saying, hey, here's what you do to get into our LLMs, they're changing the way they operate every week. They're updating them and how they work every week. Like even if they come out and say, hey, this is exactly what you need to do. I'm like, well, you're going to update your system in 2 weeks. We're going to get a new model that comes out in a month. So I don't feel like they could really tell us how it works when they don't even know how it works yet. They don't have a finished product. They don't have anything that's going to be able to be solid long enough. So it's just experimentation, strategies, ideas, experimentation, and then figuring out those things, those core technical things that we already know.
Okay, so let's do some rapid fire real quick here. Okay, so the only rule here is that you don't have to follow any rules here. I'm just kidding. But if you could answer in one word or phrase or sentence or less, if possible. But if you want to expound on it, if you feel passionate about it, you can expound. Okay, because everybody does. So yeah, ready?
Ready.
All right. AEO, AIO, AI search, GEO, or something else. What do you call it?
AI search.
AI search.
AI search is where I'm going with this week. GEO is too hard to explain. Generative engine optimization is just too big of a word to try to get out and to clients and C-levels. AEO, answer engine optimization, is too narrow, so it doesn't apply to all the industries. AIO has been taken by AI overviews, so there's just too much of an overlap in my thing. And then anything like AI SEO, well, it's not AI or it's not a search engine. So LLMs aren't a search engine, and I'm just like a little stickler on that one for some reason. I got my little foot in the
Yep.
sand on that. So yeah, AI search.
Okay. What is your favorite AI LLM to use?
ChatGPT 5.1. So
Why 5.1?
they broke it after that.
It's broken after that?
In my opinion. In my opinion, it's broken after that. So, so I use LLMs a lot for writing. I swear I have undiagnosed dyslexia. I know for a fact I do. So spelling and everything like that flows sometimes hard for me. So I use it as my, my secretary, my editor, my, thought creator. I use it to plan vacations. I use it for different things of that the majority of the time. And if anything after 5.1 doesn't seem to have the same logic that I was used to with the rest of them. And it doesn't really give the responses that I need.
Okay. Best person in AI search or AI search adjacent area to follow right now?
There's so many. Alita Solanas, if I say that correct. She's one of the most comprehensive. So definitely follow her and sign up for her newsletter. Mike King and Garrett Sussmus, but Mike King especially is the most inspirational to me. They've always been very inspiring. So if you want to get, a little fire going and you're excited about it, that's a great place to go for that. Jamie Indigo's got a lot of technical facts. So she's kind of who I go to when I want to get some fact checks and some technical side of stuff after I get all that inspiration from Mike. So she's great for that. Trying to think. Oh, Kevin Ingdig's got a lot of great strategy. So sign up for his email, and he's got a lot of great strategy and idea that's coming down the pipeline every week.
Last one, your best or favorite AI tool that no one knows about?
I'm coming up blank. I mean, my best or favorite AI tool that nobody uses the way I use it is AirOps. So instead of for content, I use it to build SaaS tools. So I use it I did a semantic content score. Yeah, a couple of years ago, year and a half ago or whatever, I did like a brand audit where you update all your brand information. and then you compare it to what their answer is. So different things like that. So I love using, I know other people do like Mind Map or MindPal, but for me, it's been AirOps to build individualized SaaS tools instead of going out and buying one or finding one. So
Very cool. Oh man, I love that brand audit idea to compare it to what they think or what they're saying versus what is there. Very cool. Sounds like we had some similar ideas with the semantic tools,
I,
which makes me feel validated, just as an SEO, because I'm like, oh, this is cool. I may be a year and a half behind you, but I'm coming. So wait for me.
no, we're all here together.
If someone had listened to this and they either want to work with you or follow you, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you, Aimee?
LinkedIn, both ways. So LinkedIn is the best way to follow me and get in contact with me. You can email me directly. It's myname@gmail.com because I'm too cheap to pay for a licensed one anymore. So,
And if someone did want to work with you, how could they identify themselves as a company that is a best fit to work with you?
in the past, I was really focused on small to mid-sized companies. I do a lot of like SaaS. I do a lot of EDU. I do a lot of that sort of where there's the longer tail. I am in e-commerce to smidge, and so I'm able to do some stuff there as well, and some stuff in local. But I do specialize in that sort of like that SaaS mid long tail. We're going to do larger content plans. We're going to have that longer funnel where we're going to want to get email signups, things of that sort. Yeah.
Awesome. I am so glad that our paths crossed during the SEO week pitch contest. I was just so impressed with your serenity. You were first and in a tough situation, and I would have never known that you were in that tough situation if I hadn't watched it happen. So I was like, wow, Aimee's cool. I have got to get her on the podcast. So thank you so much for coming on the Simple and Smart SEO show.
Thanks so much for having me. This has been great.
All right, guys, thanks for being here, and I will catch you next time. Hey, Shopify store owners, especially if you're selling on Etsy too. Here's a quick question. Are people actually finding your products on Google? If SEO feels confusing, overwhelming, or like something you'll get to later, this is for you. I'm hosting a free 7-day Shopify SEO challenge that breaks it down into simple, doable steps. No tech headaches, no fluff. Join us at aiseoschool.com. That's school with a K, aiseoschool.com. 7 days, it's free, better traffic. Let's go.